kids, Miss.Truelove here. If you're wondering what that click-clack noise is, it's a typewriter. You may not have heard of a typewriter because they haven't been around for a very long time, like in common use. But a typewriter is what we used to use before we had computers and keyboards or even electricity. Typewriters didn't have to be plugged in, see? I'll show you how they work. You push, let me take off this. This is an Underwood model from long ago. And as you can see here, all of these keys are going to, they all have a letter or a number or a symbol on them. You click the key and the ink on this part goes up and strikes the paper and makes that word. And as you type, this will move down, and then when you're ready for the next line, you push this, it takes you back to the beginning and you start your typing again. These round parts here were where the ink ribbon would go. And the ribbon would go around here so that the ink would stamp onto the paper. Cool, huh? Well, the reason that I am showing you this typewriter is because we're gonna read a book today called Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. And naturally, the cows don't have electric outlets in the barn to plug in a computer, so they have to use a typewriter to send messages to the farmer. So let's get started with Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. By Doreen, Cronin. Pictures by Betsy, Lewin. Farmer Brown has a problem. His cows like to type. All day long he hears click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. At first he couldn't believe his ears. Cows that type? Impossible. Click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. Then he couldn't believe his eyes. Dear Farmer Brown, the barn is very cold at night. We'd like some electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. What? It was bad enough the cows had found the old typewriter in the barn. Now they wanted electric blankets. No way, said Farmer Brown. No electric blankets. So the cows went on strike. They left a note on the barn door. When you go on strike, it means you're not going to work anymore. Sorry, we're closed. No milk today. He looks like he's throwing a fit. No milk today. In the background, he heard the cows busy at work. Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. The next day, he got another note. Dear Farmer Brown, the hens are cold too. They'd like electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. The cows were growing impatient with the farmer. They left a new note on the barn door. Closed, no milk, no eggs. No eggs? In the background, he heard them click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack. Moo. Cows that type? Hens on strike? Whoever heard of such a thing? How can I run a farm with no milk and no eggs? Farmer Brown was furious. Farmer Brown got out his own typewriter. Dear cows and hens, there will be no electric blankets. You are cows and hens. I demand milk and eggs. Sincerely, Farmer Brown. Duck was a neutral party, so he brought the ultimatum to the cows. Now, a neutral party means that Duck is not involved in their argument. And an ultimatum is him, Farmer Brown, and the cows finally deciding what they're going to do. The cows held an emergency meeting. All the animals gathered around the barn to snoop, but none of them could understand moo. All night long, Farmer Brown waited for an answer. Duck knocked on the door early the next morning. He handed Farmer Brown a note. Dear Farmer Brown, we will exchange our typewriter for electric blankets. Leave them outside the barn door, and we will send Duck over with the typewriter. Sincerely, the cows. Duck's the messenger. Farmer Brown decided this was a good deal. He left the blankets next to the barn door and waited for Duck to come with the typewriter. The next morning he got a note. Dear Farmer Brown, the pond is quite boring. We'd like a diving board. Sincerely, the ducks. Click, clack, quack. Click, clack, quack. Clickety, clack, quack. Oh. Well, kids, you can see that the cows and the chickens got their way, and now the ducks are going to try to get their way. I wanted to talk for a moment about the book we read last week and what one of our responses were. Jake, can you hand me the paper on the counter? Yeah. It was last week, you know, we read Yertle the Turtle, and it talked about, it was the story about how Yertle was so mean to everyone. And I had one of my students, a family, actually say, what do you think the lesson is? Now, Yertle was the turtle that had all the turtles stack up very high, and he told them what to do, and he wasn't very nice. And the Garcia family, Corey, Manny, and Valerie, they sent this in to me. We think the lesson is being greedy can make you mean. Just because you can see it does not make it yours. So just because you can see something doesn't mean it's yours. You remember how Yertle was up really high, and so he said, everything that I can see is mine. Well, that's not true, is it? And they said, don't be mean to the people who help you get on top. I think that's an incredible lesson. I'm glad to hear that you understood that about it, and the Garcias have always been terrific readers and such smart kids, so great job with that response. I wanted to talk also a minute about the million-word wall, because here we are at the end of the school year, and we haven't been able to see it for a while. I do have your, if you can't find it on AR and you're very curious, if you email me, I will look it up for you and tell you how many words that you ended up with. I don't mind at all. But I did want to mention a few people who did make the million-word wall. In Mrs. Kuntz's class, we have Brody Frazier, 1,000,000 words. Vanessa Fryer, 1,000,000 words. Aiden Martinez, 1,000,000. John Naftaniel, 1,000,000. And Genesis Caro, 4,000,000. I'm not even kidding. She read 4,000,000 words, Genesis. So obviously those are kids that really like to read. And the thing is, if you can't find something you like to read, don't give up. Just keep reading different types of things and you'll find something that you enjoy reading, I'm sure. And I'll help you if you need help. You let me know. We also have in Miss Stepp's class, Alyssa Conti, 1,000,000 words. And get ready for this. In Miss Cinca Young's class, Cinca Young, Odin Stuvenel, 1,000,000 words. So great job to that third grader, made 1,000,000 words this year. So great job. Okay, I think that's it for announcements. I'm going to wish you guys the happiest summer ever. Feel free to email me anytime you want. I'll be checking my emails. If you need recommendations for books or ideas, you let me know, okay? All right. For the last time this summer, hands in front, ready, go. Blink, blink, clap, clap, woo, woo, shh.